Jeppesen depicts it like this, because Jeppesen likes to make it actually visible to the naked eye. This is a FAA chart. Notice their barb looks like a little harpoon sticking out, and if you were in a dark cockpit, you wouldn't even notice it. So, Jeppesen decided to come up with a symbol that actually was visible to the naked eye. Doesn't require magnifying glasses, and that's what we use. They are identical. They're the same thing. Okay? So having said that, this is the only procedure turn that you do not have to fly as depicted. Okay? The barbed procedure turn does not have to be flown like that. What I could do on this one, let's say I was cleared. I was coming in from over, let's see here, let's make one out here. I'm coming in from over here, and I'm cleared direct to Mertz. I could come in, cross Mertz, turn outbound almost just like a hold, fly outbound. How far can I fly outbound? No more than 10 miles. And then turn back inbound and intercept and come back in. I can fly it just like a hold if I wanted. I can fly that any way I want as long as I stay within 10 miles and I only can do the procedure turn to this side of the course. I can't do the procedure turn over here. So as long as you meet those two criteria, well actually 3 criteria, I also have to stay at 9,000 feet during the procedure turn. If I can meet that criteria, I can do that procedure turn any way I want. Questions on that? The other 2, the teardrop and the hold, I must fly as depicted. So notice that up here, I've got a 10 nautical mile limitation, right? On the hold, it says 4 miles. What's that? It's the length of the legs. Because it's a hold in lieu of, all holding procedures still apply. That's the length of the holding legs. That's a limitation. So this one I could turn in early if I wanted. This one, technically, you're supposed to go all the way out to 4 miles and fly 4 mile legs.
So the hold and move, you're saying you can only do 1 lap?
Just the entry.
Just the entry,
Yep.
and you're supposed to be coming back.
So if you were coming in here, you would come in, boom, teardrop, outbound, and in. So your entry procedure is the hold unless otherwise authorized.
Let me tell you something.
Yep.
Do they do that just to give them more of an option to put people out there or something?
What do you mean?
Why would they choose a hold and move instead of like something else?
They're moving, if you notice, they're moving almost all the way to holds and move procedure turn. And yet, it allows them, they can now stack people up in that hold. I mean, think about that. You could stack people up and then just kind of bring them down into the, bring them down into the approach. It gives you a place to stick them. It's a little bit more standard. Like I told you, a bar procedure turn, I can do it any way I want.
Yeah.
These are standard. I'm going to use a hold entry procedure. It's easier for me to measure obstacle clearance if I know you're going to be doing a holding procedure. So I think we're going to see that pretty much replaced. That's going to be the procedure turn, to be honest.
So the one on Gallup, you're just sitting there in the hold right there, and then you depart out.
Nope, that hold is part of the missed approach.
Oh,
Okay, this is a big mistake. You can see it's a thin line versus thick line. We get students all the time who get that mixed up. So this one, you're just going to come in. Notice Gallup's an initial approach fix. You're cleared direct Gallup, cleared for the approach. All right, inbound to Gallup, outbound, inbound. I have to stay within 10 miles though. Procedure turns. Always, if you have a procedure turn on a hold, always ask the controller if he wants it, or she. Okay? Always. Legally, what are the 3 situations in which I don't have to do a procedure turn? If it says no PT, okay, right here it says no PT, no procedure turn.
Vectors.
2, I've been vectored in onto final.
Or you're straight in.
Same thing, go clear me straight in. That's coming off of vectors. 3rd is a timed approach. Timed approaches are like, I don't even, they're like obsolete. I can't find anybody who can really tell me what they are anymore, okay? Those are the 3 legal situations in which you do not have to do a procedure turn. But we had 2 pilots who went to the same airport with the same approach. One got yelled at for doing the procedure turn, the other one got yelled at for not doing the procedure turn. So, the way that this actually clicked for me was I was in the simulator with a pilot who has 6,000 hours, who has flown in all sorts of IFR. I gave him an approach with a procedure turn, and he looks over at me and he says, ATC, would you like me to do that procedure turn? And I started laughing and I said, do you really do that in the real world? And he said, oh yeah, every time. Those controllers never know if they want it or not. And every time you do it, they don't want it, and every time you don't, they do want it. So always ask. Just play dumb. Hey sir, do you want that procedure turn? Of course I want that procedure turn. All right, Roger.
You mean like if it's one of those ones?
Any procedure turn. Any procedure turn. Always ask if they want it.
If there's one there, just ask them.
If it's like completely blatantly obvious, I mean, if I'm coming in from over here, I have no choice.
Yeah.
If it's completely, I mean, just blatantly obvious, yeah, I'm going to do it. But if there is any doubt in your mind whether you should do it or not, ask them. Okay? 3 of our guys have gotten butt shootings because they're like, no, I don't want you to do that. I've got a 737 in behind you. Oh, okay, thanks, sir. I was just asking. Legally, they should have done it, though. The clearance that they were given and everything of that, they should have done the procedure turn, but they were yelled at for requesting or asking. Okay? All right, down this one. MSA, 1,000 feet, gives me my quadrants. I've got right here. What's an LOM? Compass locator, outer marker. A compass locator is a low frequency NDB. It's only good for 15 miles. So, compass locator and an NDB combined at the same location. There are 2 actual navigational facilities though. One is a marker beacon, one is a compass locator. How do I tune in a marker beacon? No! You do not tune in marker beacons. As long as you have marker beacon equipment installed in your aircraft, it will pick it up. Every outer marker has the same frequency. Every middle marker has the same frequency. And every inner marker has the same frequency. If I fly over it, it will go off. So if you were to take off out of this airport, going this direction, it would beep at you right here as you're taking off, and it would beep at you when you cross the outer marker. Now, most systems default to beeping as silent. The light will flash, but it won't beep unless you turn on the beeper. Okay? So marker beacons, I tune in nothing. As long as the equipment's installed, it works. Okay? An outer market, let's understand practicality. Outer marker beacon, I call them hey dummy beacons. They're there to tell us, hey dummy, hey pilot, something. What is it? The outer marker is my glide slope checkpoint, glide slope. Notice up here, it's in the briefing bar, glide slope checkpoint 6830. I'm supposed to check at that point if I'm on glide slope at 6830. How far off can my altimeter be? No more than 75, right? Why is that so important? How low can I legally come to the ground without ever seeing the runway? How low does this approach take?
200 feet.
200 feet. If I see the approach lights, though, I can come down to 100 feet. And my altimeter can legally be how far off? So that puts me 25 feet above the ground legally without ever seeing the runway. How important is it to check your altimeter at that glide slope checkpoint? Extremely. Okay? We want to check it. We have now had 3 situations with our instructors where they have had faulty glide slopes. Out in California, they were coming in, all of a sudden, beautiful stabilized approach, and glide slope all of a sudden just boom, drops below them. So they pulled the power and started diving, and all of a sudden one of them says, this isn't right. Put the throttle back in. Sure enough, glide slope had like failed at that exact moment. A little creepy.
Yeah. Tyler Crowder.
So you've really got to, that's what you're checking for. Is the glide slope working correctly? What do we have out here when you're taxiing out to runway 13? There's a ladder looking thing painted across the taxiway. What is that? The ILS critical hold short area. Did an airplane just cross that and he's totally bouncing your glide slope signal? I saw that happen once here at Provo. It was a VFR day, luckily. It was a little bit low clouds. And there was a jet coming in and he gets to wave it and he goes, hey tower, this glide slope's way off. And I look out there and there's a Gulfstream sitting there holding short at 13, just blocking that glide slope signal. Okay? So you've got to realize my altimeter could be off. Maybe I forgot to get in the right altimeter setting. That would be my first thought. Uh-oh, do I have the current altimeter setting set in? Whoops. Oh, there we go.